the majority of that board be done with a fiberglass brush?
Yes, and whatever needs to be adjusted, it will be done with pencil, just to knock it back a little bit. And that's basically that's how I work with these.
And I probably missed it. How do you apply the sepia ink initially? Is that with a brush or paper
It's
towel?
with, yeah, with anything you want. I start with brush just to put the first layer in, but then I usually use a normal paper towel, like something like this, and just dab it in the ink, diluted ink, and just blast it all over and create any pattern that suits the picture, any pattern basically you want. You see that now eyes emerging right here. Highlight that.
Do you think this is faster than scratching or about the same time?
Well, since I paint the ink on the whiteboard and it doesn't, when you scratch it and I use a light touch, it doesn't really scratch that much, so it's kind of, I would say it takes longer. So even the small image like this, it can take me, I don't know, 10 to 15 hours. So it's a long process. And of course, for instance, here it's kind of a harsh, here I have it with a pencil, now I just scratched it, so I just basically color it with pencil and try to connect it together, make it flow nicely.
When you apply the ink, are the bottom layers diluted or just use the
I use diluted all over. So it's not like I start with diluted and finish with the undiluted ink. I always use diluted ink, just create a lot of layers. And also when you wet.
How diluted do you do?
I don't know.
No.
Just whatever suits you. So I don't really have any like 50-50 or 20 or something. I don't have anything like that. And also when you wet the towel itself without the ink, you can just lift off the ink. Like for instance here, you see dark, very dark, and now this has been lifted off with the, this was just the dabbing by wet towel, so it creates some nice highlights and like different pattern that it looks really old or aged.
That first one that you did that we posted on what campus looked like it had running ink on it. Did you do that? Did you let some kind of drip?
Yeah, I do that too. Or I just spray it, I just take basically the brush and just spray it like that.
Oh.
Or just spray it like that, so that's why I don't do it now, because it's kind of messy. I don't want to get dirty too, but yeah. So, and basically you can do whatever you want on the board, and if you're satisfied with it, that's fine. So there is not really there is no any specific pattern that I do.
What size board do you usually work with?
I like 11 by 14 for these. This is actually 9 by 12. That depends. For board like this, I would prefer it actually, I guess, on 11 by 14 because it gives me a better space. I think it's a little cramped. The one I did previously was on 11 by 14, but.
If you're clearing a large space, like on her neckline area or her...
Actually, I won't.
You use a different brush or...
No, I always do just this. And the thing is that I won't, because what's going to happen here is this is going to be like the brightest area and it will look dark. So here it would be just basically, I'll just suggest where the neckline is. And basically your brain and the eyes will do the trick. So this is the neckline, even though this is the dark part, it's the same thing as the dark part. So I just suggest it like that. So basically it's the neck.
And you'll use the fiberglass brush for her hair as well, or you do that too?
Yeah, it's the same thing, like I started here. And I don't really follow, I know the general shape of the hair, but I don't, I see, wave here, wave there, and wave now. As I said, this is not a photorealistic, I don't care for it, so I just suggest where the hair should be, and that's it, maybe put a couple of waves here and there. And that's basically as far as I'll take it. And I just make sure sometimes when it's light like that, I need to make kind of the scratches lighter so you will know that that's where the hair is, because sometimes it kind of continues, and when you look at it, it's like the hair will go all the way here. It's like, oh, it's not happening, so I have to make it really light, even though now here it's really dark. So I just have fun with it. That's all. I don't really fold that photograph. You know, as long as I have the eyes kind of right in the right position, the nose, the mouth, and obviously the general shape of the face, then I'm good to go. I hardly look at the photo anymore because, you know, just have fun with it. And as I say, even if I wanted to, there's absolutely nothing here, you know. If you can hardly even see the nose where it is, so what do I know with the bridge? And so I just have fun. And just basically scratch it away. And as you can see, you know, you have to really sometimes push it to even don't make a scratch. So that's why this type of scratching or drawing is a little tedious and it can be frustrated. At least I was able to do the eye. And again, it's I will go over it with a pencil just to try to smooth it a little bit.
So after you've done the scratching, do you like put like a white wash over the face, or
If I do what?
after you've done the actual drawing and it's all scratched out, do you put like a white wash over it, or?
No. No, I just basically when I scratch, then I put a layer of pencil to make it smooth or smoother. I can go even over here. And if it needs to be, I scratch it again. Now I know this is gonna sound really bad, but sometimes I call it scratch between or in between, and it's just because when you scratch one like lines, you get the scratch line, then you have the ink, then you have another scratch line. So sometimes I just have to really figure out where the dark parts are, and then really scratch in between the scratcher to basically make it flow nicely. And this is basically, you know, obviously I can be here hours to scratch it, but this is what it is, and you know I see how this doesn't flow really nicely, so I just darken it. This is, by the way, just the normal mechanical 2B, and I also have a B which is a little darker. And as you see, I kind of use the pencil kind of like a brush, so I don't really, I just want to darken it, so I don't have any pattern on that. You see there's a little blotch of graphite right here, so we just scratch it back out. The worst part of this, or the most tedious part, is the nitpicking. The general overlay is quite simple and it's quite quick, but then you have to go back and when you stand, and then you see all these different textures, and you have to go in and scratch them or lift them out, basically these little, that's the nitpicking, that's the worst part. And that's why I don't do so many of these, because it's really tedious. And you see, I'm pushing quite a bit, and it still doesn't lift much of an aim. So it is a process. But at least now I know how the hair will end.